Hello, and welcome to Bringing Death Out of the Closet, Cyber Death Conversations. And my name is Kate Lovingshank of katelovingshank.com, author of the Prayer Prescription series, and also creator of Bringing Death Out of the Closet, Cyber Death Conversations. We have been talking the last few weeks about the baby boomers bringing death out of the closet. This is something that should be pretty obvious to the segment of people who would be able to do this. And I was going to will touch upon a beautiful program that I have been studying now for several years called Dying into Love, which is a program that Ram Dass and Joan Halifax and Bodhi B and a number of others have participated in a classroom situation, and a lot of the audience members were people who were having life-threatening illness, and the lessons that are imparted in that class I want to talk about over the next few weeks and maybe months. But this week, the death of Robin Williams came as an interesting and terrible shock to all of us. I mean, the fact is, he was born on my birth year, 1951, so he is the baby boomer who is helping to not only bring death out of the closet, but severe depression and suicide is always something that people are very afraid of and fear. Well, death is something people are terrified of, and suicide is one thing that people have a terrible aversion towards. And it's possible that by having open discussions in the media and around the coffee table at home and abroad, that Robin Williams will help us all grapple with the fact that we are all mortal and immortal, and that it's not something that only happens to somebody else. It will happen to all of us. And that is really something that is a very beautiful thing. And I applaud him in his great, I would say, courage. It's not easy to take your own life. And I imagine he had to be somewhat tortured to have done so, because we have to question what is happiness. I think we might have all thought that happiness rests on whether you're famous or whether you're wealthy. And as you can tell, Robin Williams had fame and he had wealth. He had a wonderful family. He had all the things that are supposed to keep us from committing suicide. And yet he did, and we have to wonder, what's that all about? What's it all about, Alfie? It's a beautiful movie that we all watched in the 1960s. And we still ask the same questions. Okay, let us talk about what we can do to bring death out of the closet in light of Robin Williams's sudden departure from planet Earth, possibly, as although Julia Asante would say he's just everywhere. He's not really off anywhere that we can't necessarily access. Okay, here we go. Let's see here. So, what makes you happy? Now, is it the simple things? Here, I like to say that ideas can make us happy. The ideas that have to surround great creativity. The ideas that happen in the middle of the night and wake you up and make you have to write it down. Ideas can make us happy. Well, look at Robin Williams. He certainly had some of the most brilliant ideas in the world, and that didn't make him happy. But what is it that makes us happy? And I think that's something we have to define for ourselves, and we have to also decide whether it truly is something that we value. And if it is something we value, then we need to bring it into our uppermost consciousness at all times. It's not just necessarily happiness, but it is the simple things of life. It's going out into the night air and watching the stars and not even having any ideas sometimes is the most wonderful thing of all. Going into the morning and watching the sunrise and going into the evening and watching the sunset and realizing within that 24 or 12-hour period, we see the beginning and the end of the day, and we are then blessed with the beautiful night that gives us great peace. And most people sleep at night. Those of us who work at night know that some people don't sleep at night, but sleeping at night is one of the most, and sleeping whenever you can sleep is the most regenerative thing that you can do. And one of the ideas I thought of this week was one of the things we can do to make sure we're not anxious about the life path that we have chosen for ourselves is imagine sending the angels out before you to do the work that you have to do before you even arrive. Sending the angels out before you to smooth out troubled waters, to heal relationships, to give you confidence on your mission. So send the angels out before you. So what makes us happy? Does home sweet home make us happy? Does having a home make us happy? Or are some of the homeless people happy by not having a home, or maybe they think that the world is their home? There's no way of, don't want to romanticize that necessarily, but this is my home, and we've lived here 24 years, and it has right behind the tree there is the river. I don't think I have any pictures of the river on this presentation today, but this house and this beautiful land and the river has given me great happiness. But I believe that the things that make us happy, we can't take for granted. We can't take for granted the fact that the people that we love in our lives will always be with us, and we can't take it for granted that we are going to be in this physical realm forever. And as a matter of fact, we have to think of our lives, firstly, as a spiritual experience, and secondly, as a physical experience. So what we see, and as we become fine-tuned into the physical dimension, we suddenly realize that we are seeing too much of life in the physical dimension. And then as we get into our 60s and 70s and 80s, we let go more and more of the physical, and we fear death less and less, and we realize that going in and going out is a part of life. So home sweet home makes me happy, but I never want to take it for granted. Never, ever, ever. Does writing make me happy? Does it make you happy? For all you writers out there, do books make you happy? Do you love the smell of a book? Do you love to read a book? Does writing in the morning and writing in the evening and creating content for the internet, or even creating books that are published, or just not worrying about publication, not worrying about goals, and sitting and writing in your journal, does that make you happy? Once again, do not take that for granted, because, well, we can also send the angels out to write our manuscripts. We can send the angels out to write the things that we are finding trouble finding words to express. So send the angels out to write the things that you wish to write. Send the angels out to find your perfect home. Send the angels out to find those perfect ideas. Let the angels do the work for you. Think about it. It's a beautiful concept. And it has to do a lot with dying into love, because when we think about the people we are going to be letting go of in this lifetime, it is a love experience, isn't it? So one of the things I came up with as I was watching Dying into Love this week was a beautiful presentation that was given by Joan Halifax and Ram Dass, and it was a conversation they were having, and right in the middle of the conversation, Ram Dass said, "Why don't we know that we are living in the sea of love, And I thought, wow, that is so incredible. The sea of love is not only where we reside, but it is who we are. And the more I concentrated on that as the week went on, even before the death of Robin Williams, I realized that meditating on the sea of love takes away judgment. It actually expands our consciousness. It brings us at one with the universe. So as you see there, Mother Earth and all of the astronauts that have had the experience of going out into space and seeing this beautiful globe suddenly have no consciousness, or they suddenly can't understand how people are fighting, why there's so much hate, why in the world are we having so much suffering in the world. When you look at the earth in this manner, you realize that it doesn't make any sense. Now the astronauts who have actually seen the earth with their eyes from outer space in this way are never the same again. They don't have the judgments. They have much more love. They have much more compassion and empathy for the human experience, which can often be surprising, as this week when we lost our dear comedian friend Robin Williams, the so-called funny man who was tortured inside. So why was he tortured? I wonder if, had he sent the angels out before him and had concentrated on the mother globe as we see her now, would there be any sense at all in having so much tortured viewpoint, a tortured experience about life? I think that every day, let's put it this way, if we look at this beautiful Mother Earth every day in the way that we're looking at her now, and we think of her as being the most beautiful, beautiful home. This is our home. This is our home, and this is the most beautiful home we could ever have. That suddenly it takes on a whole new meaning of home. For instance, this home is certainly where I live, and it's all hanging out in one little area. But it's very good to expand my concept of home, to include this, just kind of go upward and go up, 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 until we see the globe, the mother, our Gaia, Mother Gaia. There is nothing more beautiful, more loving than this. And that is what we need to concentrate on. So why don't we realize that we live in the sea of love? I am the sea of love was a kind of a mantra that I have been musing on for the last week. I am the sea of love. I will send the angels out before me to make sure that this sea of love is pristine and triumphant in every way in my lifetime. And for you too. I want this to be true for everybody. So come and join my community, katelovingshank.com, join-my-community. That is my dear little Ulysses, who used to swim in the river quite regularly. I forgot that I did have a picture of the river. And he passed on a few years ago, but believe me, he's still down in that river. And Pearlie and I, my present dog, and I see that beautiful creature. I wouldn't call it a ghost, I would call it an essence of Ulysses. The beautiful essence of Ulysses is always there. As you can see, he's the happiest little boy alive. So katelovingshank.com, join-my-community, and there's a little opt-in box. We can continue our conversation, but I'm going to be having these Google Hangouts for every week for the next so many weeks, and Thank you. Many blessings. Namaste. Love to you. I would love to hear what your insights are about dear Robin Williams, who passed this week. And maybe you've had other losses. Oh, Lauren, let's not forget the great epic Hollywood star Lauren Bacall also passed this week. We're having a lot of war-torn, hundreds of thousands of people are dying with all kinds of wars that are going on right now. Let us bless them and surround them in peace. Namaste. Peace on earth. Love to you all. God bless.